Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to take a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution Wave 3 Core Class Skarr. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now let's take a look at the figure's packaging. So here we have the packaging. Starting at the very front here, we have Transformers on the side. We have the Legacy Evolution logo. We have Dinobot Skarr with an Autobot symbol and open one displaying the figure in the packaging. There's a really nice artwork shot of Skarr in his Dinosaur Mode, and there's another Legacy Evolution logo right there. And of course on the side there's a really nice action pose of Skarr with his blaster, and there's Core Class in several different languages. On the back he transforms in 9 steps. There's a product shot of Skarr in his robot and Dinosaur Mode. This is the 4th figure of the Dinobots in the Core Class scale. So there's only one more figure to go to complete the Volcanicus Commander, that being Snarl, and I really hope we can see the official reveal of that very soon. And on the last side here, of course, we actually have half of the Legacy Evolution art. So if you do get another packaging, a part of the Core Class scale like Sound Blaster, and you put both boxes together, you can complete the artwork. And that is pretty much it for the packaging. So let's now get into the review. Here we have Skarr in his Dinosaur Alt Mode. Let's start off by taking a look at the details, starting at the very front with that head, mostly done in gold with some blue for the eyes and some red for that Autobot symbol. Tons of really nice spikes on the back, mostly done in silver with some really nice gold paint apps here and there with some nice surface detailing. Of course, we have the tail done in glossy black. This is obviously the accessory, which does also form the combiner hand or fist for the combine mode, which I think is pretty cool. It actually really would have been nice maybe if they continued the spikes onto the accessory to be more cohesive, but that's a very minor want, not really complaints. And we do have the sides. Honestly, I think the legs could use some more paints, you know, some more gold, maybe silver. I think that would have been really nice. But I do like all the molding. There's some really cool like pads and hinges there. Almost looks like he's wearing armor. And there's some more spikes on the side. Of course, same details on the other side. We have the bottom pretty well compact, nothing really sticking out or anything, and I do quite like this dinosaur in my opinion. So now for articulation, unfortunately the mouth cannot open or close. There's no articulation of the head, which is a bit disappointing. It is a Core Class figure, so it's kind of expected. As for the legs, of course, they can kick forward and back, the back ones, and of course for the front ones, they can also kick forward and back. Slightly less because there's this hinge here, but pretty much the same all around. But let's now get down to a few quick comparisons. Here he is with the Kingdom Core Class Optimus. I'm pretty sure that was actually the first Core Class ever, so it's pretty cool to compare them both next to each other. And let's now get down to a few quick Dinobot comparisons. Here he is with the leader himself, Grimlock. Here he is with Sludge. Here he is with his wave mate, Swoop, which his review is up on the channel right now. Make sure you go check that out after this one. And last but not least, here he is with Slag or Slug, whatever you want to call him. And let's now get one big group comparison. So I'm going to actually have to zoom out quite a bit to fit them all in. So we got Grimlock, Sludge, and Swoop off to the side here, trying to fit them all in. And I think that looks very cool. Let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite so far. Of course, Snarl is not out yet, but just of course of these 5, which one's your favorite? Personally, my favorite is Swoop. He's just a really cool design, a really fun figure. I highly recommend. But let's now get down to transformation. So I'm just going to move all of these off to the side for now. I will bring them back a little bit later in the view for a robot mode comparison. So now for transformation, what we're going to do is take the accessory, just kind of put that off to the side. Then you can actually unravel the legs, just kind of extend these, just bring these out like that. And then what you can do is actually split the arms just like that, and then just hinge these out to form the shoulders and the arms. There we go. Then you can rotate at the waist, and then you push the little dino legs up like that, or kind of position them however you wish, but the instructions show them that way. And then you can separate the legs in half. Then what you're going to do is get this hinge this down, and then you can get the beak and the dino head, hinge that down as well. And then just make sure, of course, the front legs are pushed up like that. And there we have Skarr in his robot mode. Let's take a look at the details. Here we have Skarr in his robot mode. Let's start off by taking a look at the details, starting at the very top with a head sculpt, some silver for the face, some metallic blue for the eyes, and some glossy black for the main helmet section. I do like the huge, big, beefy shoulders with the really cool spikes done in silver on the side. He really could use some more paint apps on the front, and the forearms looks very bare there, but I do like all the gold and the red detailing on the chest, and the crotch and the top of the legs are pretty plain though, but I do like the front of the legs again with that nice gold and silver. Really could use some more of those paint apps in the other areas, and I kind of like the dino arms on the sides. You can kind of position these however you wish, but due to the instructions, they're actually supposed to be like that. And we do have the back overall pretty clean. We do have some hollowness in the back of the legs, but it's a Core Class, kind of expected. We do have the dinosaur head on there. And overall, I do quite like this figure. So now for articulation, the head can move side to side. There's actually a butterfly joint at the shoulder. There's also a ball joint at the shoulder, so it can move forward and back, out to the side, and of course in. There's a waist rotation. The legs can kick forward and back, and move the arm. You can move it out to the side as well. There is of course some slight rotation at the top of the leg, and there is a knee bend to a very, very good degree. Unfortunately, no ankle pivot or wrist rotation, which again, kind of expected for a core class figure. Would have been nice, but they're kind of low budget figures, so it's expected. As for his accessory, I did briefly show that off earlier. It's this really cool blaster, which again does form the hand or fist for the combined mode, and the tail for the Dinosaur Mode. So it's actually pretty cool how multi-purpose this accessory is. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure this is also Blastoise piece compatible, in case you're wondering, and I think that looks very cool in his hand. There's no other really storage for this mode. The only thing you can do is put it in his hand, but I think that looks pretty cool there. So now for some core class comparisons. Here he is with the 86 core class Ratchet, looking pretty cool side by side. And now, here he is with his wave mates, the Wave 3 Core Class Swoop. And again, his review is up on the channel right now. Make sure you go check that out after this one. And I think they look pretty cool side by side. So this figure is definitely one of the bigger core class figures, in case you're wondering. So in a way, you could probably see this as a worthwhile, budget for a core class figure. No, the articulation isn't the best, but the size is pretty decent for a core class figure. So now for, of course, one huge comparison with the rest of his Dinobot friends. I'm going to scoot this one all the way off to the side to make sure I can fit them all in. Here he is with Slag or Slug. Here he is with Grimlock. Here he is with Sludge. And last but not least, here he is with Swoop. And I think they look really cool all lined up. Hopefully we can see that reveal of Snarl very, very soon so we can complete Volcanicus. And that is pretty much it for the robot mode. So let's now get down to reverse transformations. I'm just going to put all of these off to the side. And again, make sure, let me know in the comment section down below which one is your favorite of the core class Dinobots in the comments. So now for reverse transformation, I'm going to zoom in quite a bit so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to remove the accessory, just put that off to the side, just move the arms out. You can actually go to the back. You're going to push the head up, not all the way. Then you're going to get this peg here. You're actually going to put it in that slot in the back. Just push that up like that. Then you can rotate at the waist. Then what you're going to do is push the shoulders forward. So there is, of course, a slot and tab and a corresponding tab and slot. And just push these forward together to form pretty much the entire back of the dinosaur. Just tab those into place, just like that. And then what you're going to do is push the dino legs up. You can actually tab the robot mode legs into place. And then, of course, just fold this over to complete the rest of the back. And then just kind of position the little dino legs however you wish, like that. Then you can get the entire dino head, cover that over the robot mode head. As for the last step, you're just going to, of course, attach the tail accessory. So there is a port and peg. And that is pretty much it for reverse transformations. So let's now get down to the combined mode. So now for transformation to the combined form, Skarr actually forms one of the arms, so let's get into it. So what you're going to do is remove the accessory or the tail and just put that off to the side for now. Then you're actually going to unravel and fold out the legs just like that. And then what you're going to do is push up the arms just like that, then rotate at the waist. Then you can push these down and make sure this head is actually tapped in place just like that. And then you're actually going to have both the front legs and the back legs facing each other just like this. So push these up and down. Just like that, push this one up, push this one down, and there we go. Now for the last few steps, what you're going to do is actually get this hinge section here, fold this down, because this is actually the post that's going to connect to the other Dinobots, and of course the torso. And then what you're going to do is get the accessory. This actually forms the hand or fist. There is a slot on the accessory, and there is a tab right there. And then you just align it up, and there we have Skarr in his combined arm mode. Let's now attach him to the rest of the Dinobots. There is, of course, a port right there, and you're going to use that big post that I showed before, and that's going to plug right into place. It sometimes can be a bit tricky to align, but you just got to plug that into place just like that. And there we have, of course, the Volcanicus combiner so far. Overall looking very cool. I'm not going to go into detail that much because I do want to do an entire separate video for Volcanicus, showing all the details once it's actually complete. We only have one figure left, that being, of course, Snarl. So once I get that figure, I'll do a whole video for this combiner. But looking very, very cool, of course. Kind of chunky and cluttery, can be a bit hodgepodgey at times. It's not, perfect, but still pretty cool to combine, 5 core class figures together, and of course, hopefully soon to be 6. But here we have the back, overall looking very, very cool. Let me know your thoughts on Volcanicus so far in the comment section down below. But let's now get down to the final thoughts. So now for the final thoughts for the Transformers Legacy Evolution Wave 3 Core Class Skarr. This figure is really good, but I do have 2 major complaints for this figure. Starting in the Dinosaur Mode, I really do like it. It's a really interesting design with all the spikes in the back. The accessory actually forms the tail, which is pretty cool with the accessory because it's actually multi-purpose. It forms the tail for the Dinosaur Mode, the blaster for the Robot Mode, and actually the hand or fist for the Combined Mode, which I think is pretty cool and creative. I really do like that. I do like the design of the head. It's almost kind of bird beak-like. It's really cool with the gold and the blue for the eyes and the Autobot symbol done in red. That's all really nice, but the sides are just so plain and bare. There's actually some really nice sculpt work though. There's some really cool kind of armor and mechanical detailing for like the knees of the legs, which is really nice, but they could have further highlighted that, made it more obvious if they actually painted them, because they're just done in that kind of, boring dark gray plastic. It's not nearly as bad as, like the unfinished plastic that we've seen in the past, like for Swoop's wings and of course Metal Hawk's accessories. It's not nearly as bad as that. I take this over that any day, but it just seems a bit bland and boring. It really would have been nice if they added some more paint, like some blue, like some metallic blue from like the eyes of the dinosaur would have been really nice. That's probably one of my major complaints, and actually further does carry over into the Robot Mode, especially where the shoulders are concerned. The front of the shoulders here are pretty bland as well, and the side of the legs again pretty bland, but I do like all the other details, like the spikes in the shoulders. Looks like he's wearing armor. I really do like that, and there's some more on the front of the legs, so that looks awesome. My second major complaint is lack of articulation. So for the Dinosaur Mode, of course the legs can kick forward and back. I wasn't expecting anything crazy, but unfortunately the mouth cannot open or close. I actually do have that same complaint with the previous core class figure I reviewed in the same way of Swoop. Unfortunately his mouth cannot open or close. It actually does seem to be kind of a repeating pattern. I'm pretty sure none of the Dinobots so far in this core class, subline or series, and none of their mouths have actually been able to open for the Dinosaur Mode. Some people may not care, but it actually does add some really cool expressive and really nice options for you to do some really nice poses for pictures and stop motions. And that's just my opinion. I'm just kind of thinking of what I do. Again, some people might not care about that, but it really does add a lot to the figure and how you can position and pose it. And articulation further, again, carrying over into the Robot Mode, it is pretty limited. You can pull off some cool poses like I'm doing now. That was actually a bit hard to do, but there is no elbow bend or wrist rotation or ankle pivot. I really do think elbow bend should be kind of a norm or like a common for a core class figure, because it's only a ball joint. It's not like it's a pin or anything. Pretty much, I think all the other Dinobots, I think except Slag or Slug, either way you want to call him, I don't think he has an elbow bend either, but I'm pretty sure every other figure has an elbow bend. And most other core class figures do in the Stu series and the Legacy Evolution line and figures before that. So that's a bit disappointing in that aspect, but of course the legs are pretty well articulated. I'm actually doing a really cool pose, for the figure right now, like a knee pose or like kind of a bending pose, which I think looks pretty cool. Again, it was kind of challenging considering how limited he is. So a bit unfortunate in that aspect. I do recommend this figure, but there is, again, 2 glaring issues: lack of paint, lack of articulation, which I wouldn't say does come as a surprise, because the previous core class figures of the Dinobots, probably that's been their major issue, lack of paint. So I do hope maybe if they ever reuse these core class molds from the Dinobots, I'm not sure if they will or not, hopefully they add some more paint to them. I know there is Snarl remaining, one last figure. I do hope maybe they can improve upon that figure. Maybe I'm just being picky on Skarr, because I do have to say, of the 2 core class figures in this Wave 3 of Legacy Evolution, it does seem like they put more budget into Swoop than Skarr. That's just my opinion. But as for the Combined Mode, like I mentioned, if you listened or watched my previous review of Swoop, I'm not really going to judge the Volcanicus Combiner just yet, or, critique it or review it just yet, because I don't have the full, complete combiner or product yet. Snarl is not out, so I'm not really going to give you my final thoughts on that. As for the arm, I think it's a really cool arm. I really do like how all the spikes actually face out. That looks really menacing and scary. Definitely seems like Volcanicus would have that type of design. I think it works. I think it looks really cool. And again, I do like how the accessory actually forms the hand for the combined arm. I think that's really cool how it's multi-purpose. I do have to say, with the proportions with the arms, it does seem a bit off. I said this in the Swoop review as well. It does seem a bit weird how, Skarr is a very big and bulky character. He forms, the arm. That makes sense. But then Swoop, he's a very slender character. character. He always has been. No problem there, but it does look a bit odd to have one arm super slender and sleek and one have, you know, really big and bulky, very chunky. It does look a bit odd. So I think it would have been better maybe if they had Grimlock form the other arm and swoop, you know, maybe he could have been the torso, or maybe, you know, the crotch and the leg connectors, or one of the legs. I think that would have been better. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'll change my mind over time once I complete it, but for now, it does look a bit odd at times. I do hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.